Part 2. My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu number 2. When I left off, I was talking about my late sensei, Master Jim Ennis. Master Jim Ennis was a 5th-degree black belt. He was a man of Caucasian descent. If you're Japanese and you didn't like white people, you would call them Gaijin. But he was raised over there. He was also a doctor. His last dojo was now Liberty Tax on Cherry Avenue across from my current working position at the Independent Resource Center. Alright. There's a lot of things behind Mr. Ennis that led to him committing seppuku or harikari, depending on which way you want to call that. He was raised in Japan for most of his life, so when he started teaching us Korean Taekwondo and stuff like that, his first school was downtown on the mall. Now, Mr. Ennis and I really loved him because he took me in to let me learn the skill, but he had a little problem hounding me. One, the dojo that I first learned in wasn't a traditional dojo. And black people generally don't follow tradition because if you teach one black person one thing, he'll try to teach everybody else the same thing, only he'll try to teach them his way. We're poor, so we don't have bow staffs. We have broomsticks and mops, right? Because they're cheaper. And a bow staff and a broomstick ain't much different. A broomstick just got a whole bunch of shit wrapped around it with a wire that's holding it all together. But if you take all that shit off, you have a bow staff. A mop is the same thing. You take that springy thing off that's holding that mop rag on there, you have a bow staff. It's no big fucking deal. That little thing right there can be a bow staff. So, and we got that out of the way. Master Ennis, when he was downtown, and I started his school, I think I might have just been 17 or 18 years old. I know I was still in school, so I only took classes on the weekend. Because we were living here on Rougemont, and parking wasn't that difficult, but I usually walked there because it was just downtown. You know, it wasn't that bad. But when I joined the class, it was still last year downtown because he was moving the school to the place where McGrady's is now, the Shenandoah Pride building. So before we got there, there was a kid that was a black belt. Alright. Now, in his school, he has rules. Your senior students, or any student that has a black belt, even if he's 7 years old, you call him sir. I kind of was against that because he's 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, I just started martial arts and I was learning street karate. It wasn't what you would really call traditional karate. I never did katas. I learned how to kick and I learned how to punch. And I learned how to block. That was pretty much the gist of it right there. There was standing in horse fists, and then there was blocking, and then there was the hammer fist, and that was it. You know, we learned the same shit day after day. We learned certain kicks, and that was it. From 7 to the age of 10. Then dude didn't pay his rent. Building went down. It would later either be the hair salon or it would be Murray Steaks. I'm so confused on that because all those shits looked exactly the same back then. But I'm going to go with it with being Murray Steaks because I do remember it being an open lot to the right of the damn dojo. So, learning that, you know, I took from what I learned him and I practiced from 15 till I was like about 17. But when I turned 15, I had to fight my ass off. And that was that whole week, you know. Prior to that, you know, my uncles made me fight on the weekends. I fought all the time on the weekends. I fought foster children. I have since apologized. I have never forgiven myself, but that guy has forgiven me. I will leave his name off, but he knows who he is, and thank you for forgiving me. I will never forgive myself because I knew better. Especially once I started learning how to use kicks and punches more effectively, I knew better. So there's my skeleton in the closet that I can never really forgive myself for because I knew better. Yeah, I was forced to do it as a child. He realized that. But worse than that, I still knew better. I knew right from wrong by the time I was 6 years old. The fact that my uncles made me fight, rather it was right or wrong, they didn't give a shit. And I got to the point where I started to not give a shit. And morally, that's wrong. You know, that's like my greatest sin. Right there. Fighting. From 6 to 12, I fought. And it became so much of who I am. It became my greatest sin and my greatest attribute. I really didn't fear getting my ass kicked unless I was fighting with them because their rule was really simple. If you lose, we're gonna fuck you up. And I love my uncles for that because they made me the man monster that I am today. And it's funny because they never made their own kids fight, but they made me fight because my dad lived in another city, so it wasn't like he could really do anything about it. He only got me in the summertime. Now, moving back to Master Ennis. So there was a 7-year-old in this class when we were downtown. And I bowed when I went in. The kid was right there. He spoke to me, and I said, "Okay, kid," and I walked on up the steps to go get my gi and get ready. Well, he apparently told Mr. Ennis, and Mr. Ennis asked me, did I say, "Hello, kid," to a senior member of the dojo? And I said, well, he's 7 years old. He's not my master. And he's like, he has a black belt, and everyone in this class that has a black belt is your master. And I said, okay, well, if that's how you want to raise your class, that's fine. But giving people false hope, because at 7 years old, I don't believe that you should have a black belt, because that's giving you too much power in a class of people that are adults. And the reality of the fact of the matter is that, black belt or not, if I get my hands on you and you're 7 years old, all the training that you think you know in the world ain't gonna save you. Mr. Ennis made me do 25 push-ups on my knuckles because I did not say sir to that kid. I didn't say sir to that kid every time I saw that kid. And Mr. Ennis was religious with making me do those goddamn push-ups on my knuckles. And then he would ask me, after I did my push-ups, why I would not say sir to him. And I told him the truth. I said, I'm not going to say sir to him. If I have to do 25 push-ups every time you see me, that's still not going to make me say sir to him. I'm going to say sir to you because you are older than me and you have a black belt and you have earned the right for me to call you sir. If I take that 7-year-old to my neighborhood, only thing they're going to do with that black belt is wrap it around his fucking neck. And he said, is that so? I said, I can guarantee it. So, there was a guy in our class, a big white guy. He was also in my high school. He was an upperclassman. I think he was in the same class of grade with Tito. But he was older than me. And I'm pretty sure him and Tito were in the same grade. And his name was Steve. And he had a red belt with a black dot. And he called the kid sir. Now, he didn't have a problem following the rules. So him and the kid had to have a sparring match. And the kid was 7. He was a little small guy. And Steve had this nasty-ass spinning hook kick. Steve caught the kid. Kid dropped down, started crying. Steve busted his nose. And I said, yeah. And I was supposed to call him sir. And I did 25 push-ups. And Steve, he was real concerned about the kid because the kid was a small kid. He was 7. He was like right here on me, but he was 7. As good as he was not better than the red belt. It was Steve. And Mr. Ennis asked me again that I think that was funny. I said, no, but that is exactly why I will not call him sir. Steve's a red belt. Steve was like maybe touching 19, maybe. I know he was older than me because he was a class above me. And I said, this is why I don't think he should have that black belt. Because even though you're in the dojo and you have rules, some things happen. And, they fixed the guy up, and they applaud him because the kid was tough, But he was only tough because he took on a grown man, basically, and he didn't win, but he had the black belt. Now, let me explain this to you, that he got his black belt through katas. Not fighting, but through katas. And he kind of forgot to block that kick. And Steve did the spinning kick. And he came down low because the kid was shorter than both of us, so he had to come down low to try and graze his head. But in the attempt of grazing his head, he caught him in the face, and he busted his nose. So they fixed that. They went on, and Mr. Ennis continued to make me do 25 push-ups until we got down to the other building because the kid, I don't think he came back. And if he did come back, I never saw him, so he clearly took a class either during the weekend or he took class early or late or whatever, because he was 7. You know, so I don't know if he ever came back. I don't know if the little fucker's still alive. I don't really give a damn. But the whole point was, you know, so from 16 to like 19 or 20, I can't remember if it was 4 years or 5 years, that I stayed with the Inner Stairway. And I learned Taekwondo. Now we got to the point where we had freestyle sparring on Friday. I sparred with everybody. Most people didn't want to spar with me because I could fight, but I couldn't do katas. And Mr. Ennis would be like, yo, how come you can fight, but you can't do katas? And I told him, I said, because to be honest with you, I wasn't taught how to do a kata, which is why I could not earn a belt. So testing time came for me to get a 7th degree yellow belt. Psh, failed. Because then he switched, after I finally learned the Taekwondo 7th degree kata, which took that entire time me studying there, he switched the style to the Harate. So it's like, oh, now I have to learn something all new again. And that shit just wasn't happening. My body could not focus on doing a kata to save my dick. So there was you're making a star. And somewhere in the middle of that star, the block is like a left leg up and an ice cream scoop with the right, and then something here or back here or something. I couldn't do that shit. Because I was taught, this is what you do. You fight. You kick, you punch. This is where you kick, this is where you punch. When I got into Mr. Ennis school, I did a lot of damn knuckle push-ups. Because I couldn't do katas. And I forgot to call kids that had black belts, sir. So, before they moved, I had ran out of money. And it was either lose my car and not have the ability to go to work at Kegler's where this white guy keeps calling me chief, or keep my car and not come back to Taekwondo. So, clearly, I kept my car. I liked having my job. You know, I didn't want to lose my job, so I gave up what I loved the most. I practiced at home. And I talk to Steve in school every now and again. He's like, why you ain't coming back? I said, dude, I can't afford the classes because I could lose my car. I worked real hard to keep the car because the car I had was free, and my mom took it and got me stuck with car payments from Brady Bushy Ford. So, and when you're working as a kid and you have earned your own money and you're buying your own car, you know, it's a sense of accomplishment in there. So I gave up Kung Fu or Taekwondo in the school. I never stopped practicing, but I gave it up at the school. But before I left, you know, I went like maybe to one more class to explain to him what the situation was. He said, well, you can still come. I said, no, I can't because I can't pay you. And we were on a 3-month payment plan, you know, because it was like 170 something every 3 months. Well, my paycheck was only $200. And back when you're only making $4.25 an hour, I got $170 something car payment. I only get paid every 2 weeks. So the bulk of my money went to my car payment, and my next paycheck went to my insurance. So by the time I would have anything, it wouldn't even equal to $100. I had enough to buy food for school and clothes for school at TJ Maxx. Outside of that, I had nothing. So we had to fill out why we're leaving the class, what can they do to make the class better. And I wrote down 2 things. And I'm going to tell you what those 2 things are. I said, 1, you should never give a kid under the age of 13 a black belt. Whether they pass the kata or not, you should not give them a black belt because you build up false confidence, and false confidence will get a kid's ass kicked. 2, we should be able to fight for our belts so that we actually know that what you are teaching us is going to work, and we shouldn't have to break bricks or boards. We shouldn't be breaking anything, but we should be able to literally fight for our belts. And I ain't talking full contact, but I'm kind of talking full contact. You have the vest and the helmets and the gloves, so you should let us fight for our belts. And after I put that down there, you know, I finished that class, and on my way out, he pulled me to the side and started talking. He's like, well, we don't fight for our belts. That's why you have to sign all these waivers and stuff before you can come into my class. And I said, yeah. But see, here's the thing. Everyone in your class doesn't have to go to my neighborhood and worry about if what you have taught them is going to work in the streets or not. I said, I do. I said, I've been living in the projects until I was 15. I say, I moved over to Rougemont. The only damn thing changed is that there are no places that I can't run to, and there's woods now. You know, there's still black people living over there that's still threatening me because I have curly hair and because I'm short. I need to know that when I stand my ground, that every kick you taught me and every kick that I already knew before you taught me is going to work. I said, that belt, I said, I didn't come to your class to earn a belt. I said, well, what did you come here for? I came to study your style so that if I ever had to come across somebody who knew Taekwondo, I'd be able to whoop their ass. I said, and your verdict? I said, I think I can do it. I said, how you figure that? I said, well, you keep insisting that everything starts and ends with a snap. I said, all I have to do is beat that snap. So, a couple of years go by, you know, they moved from the Shenandoah Pride building, and I want to get back into it. I think I'm like 24, between 23 and 24, might be 25. I know I'm in my 20s. I found out where they are. Now, before I go back to Mr. Ennis, there was the Seven Tigers and the International Black Belt Center, and there were other places that I checked out. Needless to say, God forgive me, the asshole at the International Black Belt Center did not like me. And I don't know if it was because he thought I was Mexican or half Chinese, but that motherfucker did not like me. And that's when they were by Taco Bell, where now there's the Thai 99 and Pier 1 and the Stereo Store. I can't think of the damn name of it right now, but that's there. It was when the Carmite was still where the Carmite used to be, just down the road from ACAC, over in the Shoney's type parking lot, or IHOP, or Big Boy, or whatever the hell it's called. In the area where the fucking Fashion Square Mall is, when you cross the street the other way. Best, if you're old enough, used to be there. Anyway, so I didn't realize that I got enlightenment until I started trying to make movies when I tried to recruit students. Because if you're going to make a martial art movie, it's better to have martial artists that you can teach to act than actors that you have to bust your ass to teach Kung Fu to. Anyway, moving on. So I found Mr. Ennis, and I wasn't thinking about being a movie star. At the time, I wanted to be a cop. My stepmother was still alive. I was making frequent trips to Richmond, you know, so I was good. Had she not put that idea in my head, I probably would have just kept going to try and find something that I wanted to do that would make me have a fulfilled life. And then a lot of shit in my life went wrong. We won't go there on video, but anyway. So I go back to Mr. Ennis, and I started talking to him, you know. He has a little bit better rates now, because he has like a 3 to 5 month plan where you can pay like $300 for like 5 months, or you can pay $150 every 3 months, or you can pay it's like almost $1,000 for the year or some shit. He has some really good plans, and so let me think about it, and I'm gonna get back with you. So he said, well, you got that one free class if you want. And I went back and I watched how they did, and I was like, yeah, I really want to do this. So I talked to him. I was like, well, let me see how I can make some money move first before I can come back. Well, apparently, when I finally got the money to move in the way that I needed so I could pay for the class, Mr. Ennis had passed away. All right. Now, so I come to the dojo, and this new guy, he's not like totally awesome. But it was because the dude was sad that the sensei that ran the shit was dead. But then this guy wound up being more of a fucking douchebag than anything else, because I was like, okay, well, this is what me and Mr. Ennis talked about, and I want to come back to your school, blah, blah, blah. He said, well, I don't know how long I'm going to run the school, and then this, and this. I said, yeah, but I still want to come back and honor Mr. Ennis and being there. And then I found out what happened. And what happened with Mr. Ennis was that somebody put a peephole in the ladies' dressing room, and they assumed it was him, and instead of him taking the shit to court and fighting it, because legally you can have cameras in the bathrooms when it comes to a business, because you want to make sure nobody's stealing your stuff. If you have a camera, like see the ceiling fan here, and you see that corner, it can be there. It can't be over the stalls where people are dressing, but it can be in the angle where it can catch anybody coming in and out. So most of the time, if the door's right there and the stall's over here, the camera would be over there, so it would catch everybody coming in and going out. And it won't be over the stall, so you can get naked, boobs and shit can fly everywhere, and no one's gonna see you. But the whole concept is that someone put a peephole in the bathroom. Now he could have fought that tooth and nail. He could have said that that hole has been there since he got there, and he just didn't have the money or the time to paste the shit up. Or he could have denied accountability and said, I didn't know nothing about that hole because I don't clean the place. I hire someone to come clean the damn dojo. And if he had done that, he'd still be alive today. But he felt dishonored, so he decided to go where the samurai. Where the samurai, for the Bushido code, is did you stab yourself in the stomach, and then your Binam or your student beheads you, so that you can go honorably into the kingdom of heaven. If you do not behead yourself, you have to spend 7 years or some change in the fiery pits of purgatory or hell. I don't really know how that shit works because I just believe in God. It's so much easier just to believe in God and let all that other shit fall where it may. So when I found that out, I still tried to talk to the dude about letting me come back to class. So he changed the rates to where I couldn't afford them. It's like, well, damn, dude, this wasn't what Mr. Ennis. And I thought, Mr. Ennis is no longer in charge. I am in charge. And then it became like a ballet school and a dance studio and everything under the sun before they called it quits, and then it became Liberty Taxes. I do miss Master Ennis. I don't know if any other students are out there, and if you're watching this and I have offended you, well, fuck it, I don't care. But I will say this. With the talks that I had with him, I'm pretty sure that I probably pissed him off with that we should fight for our belt shit. But let me explain this to you. Because a lot of people aren't going to say this. A lot of people don't want to aggravate people and make it true. I'm just going to let it go. We're at the 21-minute mark. We'll be at the 22-minute mark in like 20 seconds. So I'm just going to let it go. One, by not fighting for your belts, you don't know if your skills are Class A or Class B or Class C or Class D. And why am I giving you so many classes? Because why? Class A just means you're a badass. Class B means you're pretty close to badass and your shit's going to work no matter where you are and you're going to be able to use it. I'm not saying you're going to jump up and go up to New York and go to the worst part of the Bronx and start whooping everybody's ass Last Dragon style. That shit's not going to happen. But you're going to be able to be alright in a one-on-one or a one-on-two or a one-on-three. Now when you get down to like Class E, F, and G, Class E and F pretty much means, yeah, you might be able to handle yourself against somebody who doesn't know martial arts. You might get lucky. And Class F pretty much means you're fucked. And my whole thing is if I ever got a dojo, 2 things is out. I don't give a flying fuck about city ordinance or curriculums. 1, why in the fuck would I tell you to break a brick when it's quite possible you could break your hand? 2, why am I going to tell you to break a board when it's quite possible you can break your hand? You're coming to me to learn how to fight. Simple as that. There is no brick breaking and board breaking when you are in a fight. Unless somebody's swinging a piece of fucking 2x4 at you or throwing a brick at you, basically breaking a brick and a board is a waste of time and energy. And I'm not down with that. I'm here to teach you how to survive. I'm here to teach you nothing else but how to survive. So if I ever get my school, if I ever get a dojo, those are the 2 things that are definitely not on the menu. It's simple as that. Like, if I want to fight, I said, this is how this is going to work. For every level that I think you deserve, you're going to fight for that belt. I was like, I will put you in full body protection. You will sign a waiver so that if you bleed or anything, you won't be suing my dumb ass. But you will fight for that belt. Because I'm going to tell you, in all honesty, most people who have studied martial arts can't fight. Alright? They can do it outside, and they can exercise, and because when I was studying martial arts, I didn't think I could fight until I actually had to use it in actual combat. I just thought that the shit was just something to keep people away from me, because you could tell somebody, hey, I know martial arts, and then you could show them a kick or a punch, and most of those motherfuckers that don't know how to fight but are threatening you are going to walk away, and that's the truth. Now, like I said, I didn't honestly think that I knew how to fight. I knew how to fist fight. I knew how to street fight. And when I learned martial arts, I got better at all of it. But when it came down to people bullying me, and it was a defense mechanism, I know martial arts. Break into that fighting stance, and most people were like, alright, man, alright, cool. No, didn't have to throw a kick or a punch. But then it got to a point where I became a teenager where this shit right here, That shit right here, that shit wasn't working no more. That shit didn't work in the hood. No. You break all the commas and katas and all the shit you want. You break into this one-legged mantis stance. I had to lean. My legs are bad. But you break into this little mantis stand and stuff like that. The motherfuckers like, psh, alright, motherfucker, let's go. What you gonna do? You better be ready to go. And you got two ways to go. You can run real fast, or your ass is gonna have to hold your ground and pray like hell that you know what the fuck you're doing when you break into fighting mantis. Most people don't. Because you don't fight for your belt. Some schools you build a choreographed fight scene, which is cool, as long as they actually allow light to moderate contact. But if they don't, you're just staging a dance and a fight scene. Everybody can do that. But if you're staging it, it's not real. Which means you don't know if that shit's going to work in real life or not. When you're staging it, you know that the person that you are fighting, you're not trying to hurt them, but you're trying to give them an idea. I say, if I can't tag you hard enough to let you know you've been tagged, then I haven't taught you shit. So, if you can't block it when I'm throwing it, and I can't feel just a little sting, then I haven't taught you shit. And that wasn't how the school worked. But it'll be how my school worked. Just most schools now, it's just, you break this brick, you break this board, you got a black belt. But if I take you out in the streets and you get your ass kicked and you've been paying me to teach you how to fight for like 15 years and you can't fight, either you weren't practicing or I fucked you over. Now if I take you out and we both get our ass kicked and we don't do no damage to anyone whatsoever, Charlatan I be. Alright? If I take you out and I'm fighting and we both back to back, but I'm winning and you're not, then that's on you because you clearly weren't practicing. Now there's so many different ways that shit can play out. So when you go to these people, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Anybody can punch and kick. Anybody. Anybody can teach you how to punch and kick. It's just that simple. Anybody can get a black belt and say, hey, I'm a black belt in martial arts. But if those motherfuckers haven't used it in the streets, fuck MMA, fuck UFC, fuck all that shit. If you don't know if they've used that shit in the street, there's almost no guarantee that what they're teaching you is going to work. My job as a martial artist is to make sure that if I teach you something, it better work. Now, your job is if I teach you something, you better practice every motherfucking second of the day because you don't know when you go out that door what's going to happen. But if I train your ass and you don't practice, that's your fault. I'm not going to teach you something you can't use. You don't need me to know how to kick and punch. You can watch Power Rangers and know how to kick and punch. Hell, Ninja Turtles taught me the tornado kick. Van Damme taught me to jump and spin kick. Because every dojo I went to be honest, that's all they taught me. Had I not watched Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and Jet Li and Ninja Turtles and Van Damme, half my arsenal came from watching fucking movies. Know what I'm saying? But every dojo I went into, they barely taught me more than basics. Front kick, side kick, jumping front kick, jumping side kick. Reverse tornado kick, learned that shit from Jason David Frank from the Green Power Rangers. I'd never seen it before I seen him. But I could do it within 10 days. 10 days of practicing that shit, had it down pat. The kick up, learned that shit from Bruce Lee. From watching him do it. I couldn't do that shit. No dojo I went to taught me that shit. I had to do it myself. So what does that teach you? That teaches you that sometimes, just sometimes, these motherfuckers you go to and spend all this money to, some of them don't really know what the fuck they're doing. Some of them do. Some of them don't. But if you get into a fight in the street and you get your ass beat and you went to a dojo for 7 years and you practice, then you clearly haven't practiced enough. Or you came across somebody who just was a better fighter than you. It happens all the fucking time. So in closing, not a badass, but a bad don't fuck with me. You should probably keep that in mind. I'm James Williams Sr. This is 30 minutes of your life that you can't get back. From the independent fighter, the independent filmmaker, the martial artist, the actor, did you have no idea who the hell you're looking at if you're actually watching. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2, using my normal catchphrase of BC and U, and good night. If I can find the damn cursor. Uh-oh. There it is. Sorry. Sometimes when I say the cursor, it's really this little arrow that you can't see, but I can manipulate that bitch. Yeah.